Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of I Am I. My name is Joshua Ansley, and we're moving on to the third chakra this week, Manipura, right? This is one of my favorite chakras entirely. So basically, once we have that grounded steadiness and stability down through the first chakra, right, and down into the earth, then we allow ourselves to flow up into our creativity and our authenticity of our emotions in the second chakra and our intimacy and our relationships with others. And then we move into how we relate to the world. This chakra is how I relate. It's first how I relate to myself, then to others, and this one is how I relate to the world. So it has intrinsically to do with our own self-worth, right? So the element is, I can't remember. The first one is earth, and then water, and then I don't know, it'll probably come to me later. I can't really remember what it is, but so basically this is the seat of our will. This is the seat of our self-will. This is where we align our will with something higher. Each chakra also has a yoga that is specific to it. So the first chakra is Hatha Yoga, the second chakra is Tantric Yoga, and this is Karma Yoga. And karma means action. So this is where we put our will into action. Not just taking action, but aligning our action with something higher. So it's not just selfish action or unselfish action. There are three types of action: selfish, unselfish, and then selfless, right? So eventually moving towards that selfless, the enlightened state would be selfless action entirely. So there's selfish action, which we all know well. There is unselfish action, which is giving, caring about others, doing service for others, and knowing that we are still getting something in return, even if it's just the satisfaction. So it's not necessarily that we're doing it codependently and trying to get something back, but understanding that we're doing it and that we are receiving benefits from it as well. But selfless action is where we're completely detached from the outcome, completely just taking action for action's sake. And that is Karma Yoga, and that is service. So this has been a really powerful chakra for me in my life, just dealing with working through really low self-esteem, and how incredibly powerful that can be, and the shame that can come, can be completely overwhelming. So when we turn that around, the positive archetype of Manipura, of the third chakra, is the hero, right? And the negative archetype would be the slave, right? So this is where we actually find our royalty and our dignity within ourselves, right? This is where we stand up and know how to align ourselves with something higher, right? So it's as opposed to just accomplishment or achievement, it's about cooperation and contribution. It's about what we can contribute to this world. And that happens when we understand our own intrinsic self-worth, when we understand deeply inside of ourselves our own royalty, right? So a very positive archetype for this would be the king or the queen, right? So the visualization that I usually use in my class would be like, seeing yourself sitting on the throne, sitting on the throne of your kingdom, understanding that you are the king or the queen of your kingdom or queendom, right? And just getting really down into the visualization of what you're wearing. What is your throne made out of? And it could be anything. It could be of stone, it can be of fire, it can be of feathers, it can be of diamonds, whatever it is, because it's your visualization. So whatever is empowering for you. So the color here is yellow, and it's the yellow of the golden sun, right? So it really is in the solar plexus region right here, right? And this is what's really awesome, is when you get into the breath work, into the pranayama here, you get into Kapalabhati, which is breath of fire. So obviously the element is fire of this space, right? So this is where we fire up our will. This is where we ignite our will and take it into the world and take action in the world, right? And this is where we will get into issues in our business, as we relate to the world. If we don't have the self-worth, particularly if you're entrepreneurs or something like that, if you don't have that self-worth, that's really going to affect the way you're relating to the world with your business and things, right? So the Kapalabhati breath is the breath of fire, and it's really all about coming down into this space here, right? Right here in the solar plexus. So if you would like to know briefly, so I don't choke on all this smoke, the exhale, it's focused on the exhale, right? So it's as if you're panting like a dog, right? Which I'll try to do without choking. So the tongue, if you stuck the tongue out of the mouth, and you just feel that pulling in the solar plexus, right? On the exhale, the belly pulls in. And then if you close the mouth, that is the breath of fire, and you could do it, you could speed it up however you'd like, and this is actually a really quickening, enlivening breath. So if you're feeling really sluggish in your day, you can take this breath of fire. I think I just snotted all over myself. But you can take this breath of fire at any given point during the day, and you'll get your blood pumping a little bit, and you really get that action alive in the body, because action is the insignia of life. It is not about becoming actionless. It is not about sitting in a cave and getting all meditative and doing nothing. It is absolutely not about doing nothing. 90% of us, particularly even the yogis, are going to be karma yogis. It's about taking this world, taking this action in this world and making it a better place in some way. But we have to be able to get grounded again down through the first chakra and know ourselves and our authenticity in our second chakra and our creativity and flowing into there, so that then we can stoke the flame here in our will to take it out into the world. One of the interesting ways to work with the chakras is from the top down, right? And I speak a lot about coming from the bottom up as well as the top down, so you get that really solid grounding and rooting, and then flowing up again through the second chakra, and then igniting our will, and then bringing it down from that inspiration, right, and the visualization, and then speaking about it, and then bring it into the heart center, and we bring it out into the world, right? And that's a powerful way to think about it. So this would be where when you talk about it from a creative aspect, if you just work from the top down, it is the inspiration, the visualization, then it moves to speaking out loud. That's where we share it with other people. Then we enact our will to create it and move down into that unknown creative space, and all the way down into the final manifestation in its densest form in this creation in this physical world, right? So in this third chakra, it's all about the action, 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 right? So it's a really dynamic chakra. It's really exciting in that respect, that when we start to really truly understand the value, our inherent worth, right? That we don't have to actually do anything. It's not the action that will create our worth, but we will get that self-worth down from knowing ourselves in this divine core as who we truly are, as divine spiritual beings, absolutely perfect already. And when we move from that space of already knowing that we are absolutely perfect, that's when our action becomes selfless and dynamic and gorgeous. And that is the power in this chakra here. When we really wake this up right here, it is incredibly powerful. It is a bright sun shining out into the world. It's when we let our sun shine out into the world. So, yeah, I think that's about it. So, in Lakesh Lakin, I am you. You are me. Namaste. What? Too much? We are not defined by our successes, nor are we defined by our failures, all right? If we get our intrinsic self-worth from within, from that connection to this higher space of divinity that we are in our perfect core, then we can take action, and it doesn't matter if we fail. It doesn't matter if we look like a fool. If it doesn't matter if we disappoint. It doesn't matter what happens in anything that we do. And if we are coming from that place of absolute perfection within ourselves, then our action will be completely selfless, because we will just be taking action to serve others. And that's when the action becomes completely beautiful and dynamic. And our energy is limitless in this space when we come from selfless action, because we are not drained by attachment and selfishness.